Welcome back, everybody, to another Patreon replay analysis. Tonight, we're going to be hopping into a replay from Cloudn9ne. Let me give you a little rundown on who our mans is. So he's an Xbox player, so he actually had to stream them on Mixer and then record it with his Android or iPad or whatever it was. It's gonna be a little sketchy, but that's okay. We do our best, and we'll be going through it with him anyways. So I'm excited to do that. He did say he was gonna try and stop by tonight, so we'll see if he does. So welcome if you're in chat, Cloudn9ne, say hello. So right now he is currently ranked at Plat 3, Div 1, and Standard. Most of that is solo queuing. He was stuck at Gold 3, Div 3 for a few months, but now he's been listening to a couple of different podcasts. I'm here. What's up? What up, Cloudn9ne? Now he's been listening to a couple podcasts. He has been making that big push to Plat 3. So he has the videos posted right in the same, the one win, one loss posted together like we asked for. So we'll be going through that. And like I said, obviously I can't be, unfortunately, as in-depth as I normally am with a recorded video rather than the replay itself, but that is the grind of console. So specifically to Cloudn9ne or anyone else watching this, if they want to see a little more in-depth analysis, I would recommend checking out some of the other analyses that I've done, and then we can go from there. But yeah, that would be the main thing to keep an eye on. And if you need to see anything more in depth, and I might even reference some stuff just so you guys can actually kind of fully take that in. So we can hop on in now, and we should be good to go. Let me just make sure my pens are working. They are, so we're all set, and we're ready to do this. So let's see our Plat 3 friend here. Key off 6 smooth. Now the bump. Your teammates AFK? Okay, cool. Good challenge. And a beautiful follow to the bump. Great play. That's one of those plays where I would like to check your teammates' cams so I could see if they're coming or not. But obviously that's not relevant on you. So good recovery back and great cutoff. Beautifully played. Where is your teammate here? There he is. Okay, so quality is obviously difficult, but I will draw this out. I rarely do this because my job is to highlight things you're doing wrong. You do this very right, and that's why I really want to highlight this for some folks who are watching. If you're rotating back, and so you're following your line, your plan is maybe to get that boost rotated into net, or maybe it's not there and you're just cutting into net, whatever that may be. If this is your line right now, this quick check from going from ball cam, which had you looking at the ball, which is in this direction, to then forward is huge. The reason that this is so important is because you were able to identify whether or not your defense here, he's really just a goalie, but you're able to identify whether or not your defense here is actually going to be challenging this ball or not. If he's challenging this ball, in no right mind would I ever ask you to cut off, because, and especially since you listen to the podcast, so I know you know this, you are technically the cutoff man right now, but being the cutoff man is twofold. It's your main job is to slow down the play so your team can recover, set up, blah blah blah. Most people know this. If you're in Gold Plus, you probably know that. Whereas, and because that's where it becomes relevant, is probably around gold. Whereas you are able to see that your goalie is in a very, very far back position. So you should be the cutoff man here, but your line has set you up so that if he is challenging and he is following this line right here that I'm talking about, you are still able to rotate back to that. So this line, literally, I want champions to take this in, because I see champ 3s who don't do this well. And so the ability to do this and then go back to ball cam and hard cut there is huge, because you may not see it, and this is again where I'd use your cameras, but you can see right there, you can see the cusp of a blue name tag. So that means you have a teammate who's driving in this way and is going to be following in behind you. You have now become the number 1, and then you have your goalie behind, which is the number 2. So this is literally the most brilliant way to handle a technically one rush down the field, and you do it beautifully. So really, really props to you there. This is something that, whether you meant to be this intelligent about it or not, I'm talking about as much as I am, so that even if let's say you weren't thinking about it as deeply, you have that in the back of your head now, because that was a beautiful challenge, and your goalie ends up challenging, as you see, anyways, which is unfortunate. He probably should have read you, but he was able to at least be ready for a play. So you cycle back in, and beautiful rotation back, and you get the possession to keep with it. I can tell you were going for a bit of a slower pass there and ended up getting bugged. Careful on rotating a little tight there. We can go back a bit. And so somewhere around your rank, I've actually spent a lot of time kind of focusing on this. I'm really going to have to draw this because not only are we with like quality, we're also with the snowy maps. So we're not going to be able to see as much as I want to talk about. But right now, right now you're at 40 boost, and your goal like literally your only goal right now is that your defender, so the ball is coming this way, gonna be going into the corner here. Your defender is the number 1, your second defender is the number 2, and then you should be rotating wide into that number 3 is what your rule should be right now. You end up cutting it kind of tight coming in this way, but that's not the end of the world. That's really not that bad. Don't worry too much about that. But this should kind of be your rotation right now, and then that's how you start that full. Literally why it's called a rotation is because it ends up looking like that. So again, you're doing this well. What I want to highlight though is how that obviously this boost is out of the question, and if you go over to this boost, then in my opinion you're really leaving a pretty harsh rotation there and potentially leaving your team out to dry. Again, you don't do this, but I just want to talk about this. So how can we come back to net with the most boost possible? What you really got to be looking for right now is where these pads are on the field. So like I said, it's gonna be kind of hard to draw out, but I just know this from memory. So there's a pad here, there's a pad here, there is a pad, it's 5 out. So there's a pad. Audio? What do you mean audio? Can you not hear me? But hello, Dave. There's a pad here, 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 and here. Static sounding. Can't hear you. Mine is fine. Oh, probably on your end, Swoogles, buddy. Yeah, so those are as chaotic as this looks. That is where your boosts are. So there's a little ring around the outside, and then it's a little semicircle here in the net. On the outside of that, there is a path of boosts that come all the way down this way to the other end, and a path boost that go all the way to this way in the end, and then one right down the middle. I know this looks absolutely chaotic, but that is what those boost lanes are going to look like. So what I want to be seeing you doing is trying to follow these lanes as you're coming into it right now. So the main thing that I want to see is you trying to follow these pad lanes all the way down so that you can come into net as full or close to as possible. So that would be a big part of this. So if I delete this and we kind of keep watching this through, you can see right there, so that pad's taken from you, not a huge deal. But there's a pad you missed there. There's a pad right here that you're already pretty tight in a tight rotation. You could grab it right here to be getting into net. And then finally, there's a pad there like I had drawn up. So there's the one in net, and then there's a one out here right now, and there's a one behind you this way and a one this way. You have kind of driven this like perfect line that has avoided all of the pads on the way in, and this is a really important part so that you're not stuck at 34 in net. I apologize, guys. I'm really trying to focus just to give him the replay review, but I will say it's all screwed up. iOS is very screwed up. Folks can't watch on iOS. You have to watch on an app. Right now, I don't think it's anything Apple. Doesn't work right now, unfortunately, for whatever my viewing settings are, because it's just my stream, and I think some others, whoever does it like me, so I have to look into that. I got a message today saying they fixed it with an update. People are telling me they've updated their phones, and clearly it's not working. So unfortunately, and if people want to pass it along in chat, that would be my recommendation for now. I unfortunately cannot fix it. I will look into more options soon, but I'm going to just keep rolling through the replay review here. So that would be my main note. So now you're stuck with 34 boost and kind of awkward as this comes into net. I appreciate the jump here a lot, actually. This is a really, really good kind of team thinking play of if my teammate is going to be like zooming by me right now, then I'm going to jump him. I correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's what you're going for there, which I really appreciate. This is where I want to see you half flipping. And so I don't know if you know how to half flip. If you don't, please, this is the whole point of you having being this Patreon tier, let me know, and I will send you the instructions and videos of me doing it to teach you how to do it. Because it's a huge skill. If you do, then that's okay. This is where I need to see you half flipping here, because this goes back to a little bit of information gathering. If we go a little ahead, right. Yeah, sorry, a little behind, what I meant to say. So right now, this is where you got to do your quick information gathering. So, and this is a huge part of you coming into this plat, especially into diamond, is knowing where your teammates are and who's going to be viable for the ball. So your teammate in the corner over here is completely out of the play now. He's irrelevant. He lost his challenge. It comes down to you two. This teammate jumps. So that means he is committed to the jump and won't be doing anything more until he is able to land, turn, and then go. He's also probably pretty low on boost because he did the same as you and just rotated into net and did his thing. So who is going to be the champion that chases down this ball? It's going to be you. So as soon as this ball goes, I want to see you half flipping so that you can then be chasing this ball down directly into the corner, following it down and being present. Because when we watch it now, this just goes and you end up waiting for a teammate to go, and this player has all the time in the world to make a play. Luckily he rushes it and your teammate's able to be there as quick as possible. But yeah, that would be the big thing that I would kind of lean towards you there, is that I want to see you playing much faster into your corners so you can be a little more relevant. Good job on the path there. Beautiful win in the aerial. Great job. Same thing, getting your pads right now. So there's 1, 2, 3. Beautiful. Great job. You force the play and you get your full pad. That was beautifully played, Ben. Absolutely beautifully played. Careful on being just intentional with these, right? Is like, I know you're, because what I see these plays a lot, and this isn't just at your rank, and this isn't just you. When you go for these touches, what you're doing is when you jump up, and I'm sure maybe your goal was to wrap it around this way so that it goes like in towards the net in that direction. But until you're either comfortable with it or you find other ways, which is kind of what I'm going to talk about now. I often don't recommend these follows. So, and when I say these follows, I'll show it one more time. I mean when you hit the ball into the corner and then you try to aerial to meet it. I would much rather see you in this one. Driving forward, going up the wall, and then meeting it, or even coming back down then to catch it, so you're following with the ball the entire time, rather than this jump, because this jump, like I had said, you can see what it does there is it now has taken you completely out of the play. You are irrelevant now. You can't do anything like that. You're stuck with this. Your teammate now has to fully challenge to this ball to try to keep this present. He doesn't have to, but we see one he does, and generally players will when they see that your attempt is done. He's the number 2, so he's going to take it. And now this player has to choose between supporting the wall or supporting the slot. He now has to make a kind of awkward decision that sometimes work out, sometimes doesn't. So it really does mess up rotations, these plays. So I tend to tell people to stray away from these, and it's a really hard thing to wrap your head around and get on in your muscle memory, is to not go for these, but using the wall instead, because like I said, it really screws up the rotation, and we can see that kind of full fold here when your teammate comes in and booms that ball, and now nobody's in the slot to make the play because your teammate decided that he'd rather play safe and play the wall than the slot. And so then now they get a breakout going back out the other way and are able to slow it down quick. I can't tell if that was waved after or not. If it was, good. If it wasn't, do it. Ooh, careful. This is what I'm talking about these close post rotations. So your teammates double commit here. And again, this is where you're gathering information. So when you're looking at this, you need to see, okay, both my teammates are completely out of the plane now. So your main job should be coming in, and this boost is gone. So you know you're on a boost. Cycling in, getting this pad, getting the pad in the middle, and then the pad at the kind of the far end of the post, to then cycle back around so that you're driving in, and then you're set in net is what you want to be doing here, because now you're giving your teammates enough time to figure themselves out and stop being trash and then catch up with you, right? So this is something, and a couple people in chat who I do some coaching with will attest to this. A lot I tend to focus a bit more on saying, okay, if you're solo queuing like you said you are, let me make you the best player on the field by making your teammates' mistakes or their good moves be as valuable as possible to you and to the team. So this is a play where I want to see this. So I want to see you driving full pace into the net, grabbing a couple boost pads, and then cycling so that you can wait right here in the middle of the net. And so what we end up seeing instead is you going up the wall and then going for this flip. And unfortunately for the other team, but very lucky for you, this is a great pass. This player is supporting way too tight to his teammate here, and then this player for some reason is in no man's land when he should be holding the slot. So we end up lucking out in that sense, which is great, and we're able to take it from there and can go. But otherwise, then this would be kind of this is where you get burned. So this is a pretty huge part of this. So yeah, that's a huge thing to keep in mind. And but otherwise, like I said, not the end of the world. This is just a good way to make up for what your teammate's mistake truthfully was. So now you're paused. We got to think about, oh, are you AFK? I'll take it that you're AFK. I will say, if you weren't AFK right here, the main thing I really want to be saying for you is you should be collecting as many pads as possible. So I would personally be playing safe right here, because your teammate here, ooh, wrong color. your teammate here has boomed the ball. Your teammate here isn't anywhere near it. So this is a very, very easy possession for them to just end up kind of booming this downfield down to you. Again, wrong color. Down to your corner. So that is the projected play, isn't the guaranteed play. So your pathing right now should be trying to get these boosts. So I drew out the semicircle that I was talking about before, like this, where it goes all the way around. So you should be going to this one, to this one, to this one, to this one, and then back in net or back into the corner. And you're basically creating, it kind of looks like a butt, but you're creating a much better. Basically, you're getting boost while staying relevant and being in the safe enough position to make the play. And if we watch this again, if you weren't AFK, booms down, and now you would have at least 2 to 3, maybe 4 pads to be able to go make this play and maybe even get that full boost in the corner. So that's a big part of it as well. Same thing I want to see getting the pads right now. Careful on this one. So you end up same thing, leaning in. Oh, this is actually a really good thing we can chat about as well. We're getting a lot of this already, so this is a great choice of replay. So right now, and so this is a really, really interesting thing that I only started thinking about when I was in like champ. So if you can think about it now, you will also see that you're often in position faster and more relevantly than you were before. Flipping, like I talked about earlier, or jumping is basically a like, I am stuck doing this. Like this is your destiny now, is you're stuck in this jump. And so you need to always be intentional about when you're doing it. And often you'll see things where like, oh, like I just flipped and now the ball's behind me. So it's about trying to negate those by always knowing when you should or shouldn't flip. This ball right now, if we draw out its trajectory, is coming down directly into the middle of this chaos of players. So we basically know one of two things. Either one of them is going to get up and hit it from any angle, wherever that may be, and then they will win it, or somehow you're playing with a god tier teammate who's going to win this because he's in front of you, so this should be his ball, who's going to hit this ball first. So that's basically the play. You also know that your teammate right now, from what we saw, should be in the net area. Like he's probably somewhere over here. So meaning he is kind of covering this half of the field, meaning you're covering this half of the field. So right now you guys actually have the perfect triangle set up that you can actually read this from whether he wins it or they win it. You guys have it covered, but that's important for you. That means not to cheat too close, right? And not to get too close. So I would be saying you'd want this pad and almost kind of waiting, or maybe turning out or in, either way that you want to go, so you can kind of be close enough to be relevant but not so close you're going to get caught. And so what you end up seeing instead is you flip, and this is the big part that I'm talking about. So as soon as you flip, you're committed to this forward progression. And so now when this player makes this touch, it's most likely going this way or up, right? Like that's kind of one, or somewhere in that kind of span here. So you are now committed to this very, very close and difficult aerial, which you get right away. It's an awful touch, and you now very awkwardly have to jump, lean, and then not get a good hit on it, forcing your teammates to make another play as well. So that's a really interesting part about like kind of being intentional with your jumps as well, which is really important and something to keep in mind as you're going along. I'm sorry for everyone viewing who can't watch it because of the because of the update. I apologize, folks. Very frustrating for me. Good patience. Good. I was about to rip into you. That is not your ball. So this should be your ball if you are closer. The issue is that you're not. And so if we go back again, very, very slightly, you guys are in the perfect 1, 2, 3 right now, right? So you have, and if you're still in chat, Cloudn9ne, actually let me know. Do you know what the 1, 2, 3 like offensive rotation is? Like, have you been taught that? By Plat, my guess is you do, either whether you just learned it organically or you've actually watched videos and understand it. But just let me know, because then that will tell me how far I'll go in depth with this. But your teammate right now is the number. Ooh, always the wrong colors. Your teammate right now is the number 1. So he has started this challenge. He is either going, one of two things should happen here. He is going to come in and challenge and sort of watch YouTube video. Okay, perfect, cool. So I'll go like kind of in depth. So he is now, there's basically 2 outcomes that will come from this if he is a decently sane player. He is either going to win this ball into the middle, or he's going to lose this ball behind him. If option 2, this one, happens, that's the reason why you are now the number 2. So you are here to support then the next challenge while he rotates out, maybe taking a body, maybe taking a boost, wherever that may be. And then your number 3, who is over here, will cycle in behind you and become that number 2. That is your offensive rotation. That's where that comes from. And that's the really important part. If we go to outcome number 1 that I chatted about, Oh, yes, his line. I was like, what? So this one, you now become the person who will be kind of hovering in this area and supporting as you're coming towards the corner, because you obviously got to remember they have a goalie, so there's a good chance that this is going to get cleared again, which makes you that number one, and then same thing, your number two will rotate in behind. Or if it does get through and it follows to the end of that outcome number one, your number three who is waiting. Oh my god, I keep clicking blue. It's not giving me blue. Your number three who is waiting over here will be the one to take the shot, and so this will be him coming in for this. So you realistically should not be leaving kind of this quadrant of the field right now, because you are covering this and anything that goes behind you. So anything that flies on behind you should be your ball. Anything that goes over to the complete right side of the field is your number three, and anything that stays in the corner is your number one, and that's it. Simple as that. That is how you stick beautifully in a threes rotation and never feel like you're double committing, getting caught, things like that. Knowing that now, let's see what happens when you start to drive across. And this feels correct, right? You can't see your number three right now, so you're like, oh, I gotta follow this ball across. So you're like, oh, this is even juicier, so this needs to be my ball. But already you're too far across. So if your teammate wasn't there, you're technically cutting rotation, but you're just playing smart by covering. But the second you see him, I love that you break, and I appreciate the hell that you break so much, because that is his ball through and through. So you play that well, but just be careful about cutting too far across. So you do actually recover really, really well. Now, challenge, interesting, and we take those. Yep, we take those. Good aerial recovery. Oh, I'm sure you were trying for this anyways. Always trying to get your wheels to the corner, onto the wall, right when you go. So right here, you aerial this. You want to be air rolling your car to the right. So you want to be looping it this way, so that your wheels, this one will go, this one will go, this one will come around, and this one will come around, so that you can be full driving to then instantly meet this ball again. Because you see, you get a kind of weak touch, which is fine. I actually would prefer you get a weak touch here, because then you can do this and follow it. But then when you land like this, awkward, and now their number one is a very, very easy win. So always, always, always be trying to get those wheels on the ground. Careful of cutting off your teammate there. So right now you should be the number three. So you should, with your body language, and this is another huge part of solo queuing, is your body language. So you should be doing one of two things here. If you were talking actual rotations, your job is to rotate to net. This player should be coming out to the middle. This player should be chasing the ball, and then you can follow up behind and be the number two or three, depending which way the ball ends up going. Most likely the number two. As you come on in, because let's say he chases, so this guy, this little man here, chases this into their far corner. This guy follows into the middle looking for the pass. That means that you're going to rotate out and follow in behind him. Is that number two? Does that kind of make sense? Don't answer that. It's rhetorical. But so that's the ideal rotation. You can already see your teammates pretty idly sitting in net right now. So you have a decision for yourself. You should either be hard turning right now, taking this pad, and then basically taking his role, which is fine, and like I have absolutely no problems with that. Or you should literally park your ass right here, right in front of him, and you're showing him that it's his time to go. Like, he needs to be the one going, because that is. That more or less comes down to you. If you are a fast player who wants to play fast and be the one relevant, turn. Go for it. Take it. But you always need to have a mentality of, like, am I cutting off my teammate intentionally for a good decision like this, or am I cutting off my teammate because I am a monkey and want the ball? That is always what you need to be balancing when you're doing things like this. And right now your teammate's in a bad position, so you're cutting for the team effort, right? Which is something you really got to think about. And that's what I want to see. Unfortunately, and why we stopped is because you kind of do neither. What you actually end up doing is you drive kind of in front of him and like past him, and then there's a bump, but now you decide to get into play and you become that number two, which is great. So otherwise, good attempt, good shot on net, good recovery, but just be careful of those little things as you're rotating in there. A couple little things here. Again, so not sure if you know this. Right now, before a little before. Let's see if I can get this time. Certainly separate just for Twitch as a whole. I think it'd be a good idea. So that's in there. Yeah, that'd be a good idea, Pip. If one of you guys want to go for it, you're more than welcome to, guys. Okay, so if we look at this right now, imagine you're not jumping, imagine that's not there, and you're driving. You're the last one rotating back. So what's your goal? Get back to net. You do that. We already saw that. We watched it. You already do that. Thanks, Pip. Appreciate it, buddy. you are already supersonic. You're actively supersonic right now, and so if you don't know this, is fine, and this is what I'm going to tell you right now. If you just drive straight holding gas, not boost, while supersonic, you will not leave supersonic. You will stay full speed the entire time down the field. Therefore, jumping, boosting, things like that does absolutely nothing but potentially slow you down and potentially make you worse. So by just holding gas while supersonic, you will stay supersonic the entire way down the field. So this first jump isn't necessary. The little of boost down the field that you do a couple times, so you count it as we go now, isn't necessary, and you could be getting back to net with a full 100% boost without getting a single other pad because you just got their corner. And so now, like I said, if we watch, you jump and then have to boost through it to get another boost and put yourself down to 92, jump, and then boost again as you get into the back post, and then you're actually too fast coming in, and then have to hard brake, and then cut off your teammate. We'll talk about that. But this is a huge part about recovering, is your boost management to know. And so I can tell you right now, it takes, I already see you can diagonal flip quite well. It takes 25 boost and 1 diagonal flip to go supersonic, meaning that you can just drive a straight line supersonic all the way down the field and you recover perfectly. If you didn't know that, I hope that's mind-blowing and like will be super helpful, or maybe you just didn't think about it here, but you got to get that as a kind of unconscious, like you always think like that kind of play, so you can always be keeping your boost. I'm not going to harp on this all too much because we already talked about the backwards rotations. You rotate well here, just stop where you are, because right now you are going to be the person who will drive around. I literally cannot believe it's always the wrong color. You are the person who's going to drive around. You didn't know that much. Cool. Good to know, man. That makes me really happy. It's like the most mind-boggling thing when you start doing it well, because you just always have 100 boost and you never understand why. So it's really, really cool. And I'd really recommend looking into it because people at your rank are not doing that right now. So you will dominate with that. So right now, you should just hard stop on the line. Don't go any further than this. Ideally, you're on the ground, but not a huge deal, because if this ball gets boomed this way, you're the person who's going to be cutting that off all the way around. Or if this ball isn't boomed, this is your next guy in line to challenge, meaning that you need to cycle in behind him afterwards. So you should not be going any further. And we've already seen your teammate likes to sit in net. We know that. But this is part of that kind of body language of like forcing him to go so that there isn't mess ups in the future. So your teammate now just missed his challenge, so he's going to be cycling in behind you. So you need to make sure that you're holding this very, very steady rotation at all times. So we end up seeing, like I said, you end up driving in front of him there, and so now you're leaving him with potentially still no boost and no speed, still stuck in net, and gets bumped to the ball. We love it, but and again, luckily you get out of it. But again, a very, very important thing. I want to see you in straight cam a little earlier here. So you do ball cam. I need straight cam like just a little bit earlier so that you can be under that ball, but use that circle, right? So there's the circle on the ground there that you want to be getting under. You want to be using that circle at all times when you're trying to catch balls, and that inside circle is growing, right, at the speed of, because it'll be a little pip in the middle, and then it'll grow just before it hits the ground. You want to be at right around there. You already want to be under the ball as this is coming, so you can eat that up, but nice try regardless. Good aerial, beautiful. And so don't give up on these challenges, right? So you make this play. That is such a great opportunity for a jump off right here of like, you already know that this guy being the last D is probably panicking right now. So he is going to be very, very quickly jumping up to this ball. So all it takes from you is to jump off. I'm drawing from your center of mass to jump off and then flip into that as well. And for all you know, you're going to get a beautiful 50 on net that either goes in or bounces in the middle for a teammate or whatever that may happen. Worst case, you're going to flip past him. You're going to take their boost and rotate out to be that number 3, right? And that is what a steady threes rotation should look like, because what we end up seeing instead is you choose to go down and out, and now you are low and having to cycle all the way back to your end for boost. And now your team has lost possession, just like that, right? Which is pretty huge. So always complete your rotation. Try not to leave early unless you're with comms and like letting people know that you're leaving early, because you will see things getting burned by it. Same thing, I want to see you getting pads here because I'm not seeing it enough. So like right here, there is a pad, like I said, so we have the center line right down the middle that goes right to your net of pads. You have 2 on either side of that center line, and then there's a little arc that goes around the field like this, and then an arc that goes around the field like this, back to their net. So, and there's pads all along this arc. So I want to be seeing you hopping between pads right now, trying to get as much as you can to stay at 100 the entire time, because you can watch yourself, you stay in the zone anyways, right? Like you turn here, and you decide to stay in, but like look how many pads are on your screen right now that haven't been taken, and still nothing, no pads, and now you have 70 boost and are getting bumped in your own end, and they managed to clear it out the other way, right? That's a huge part of being able to recover fast, is being able to play with pads and do things like that. But otherwise, really good recovery net. I'll take your time here. And then this is just something that is a small thing to work on. There's no point in jumping here, right? Like rushing this ball, there's absolutely no point. This is Plat 3, Dave. There's absolutely no point in rushing this ball. So we have a player on their team who has followed an arc and is going to be coming in to challenge you right now. We have a player who's going to be hovering and playing a bit of shadow defense. You are already at the ball and you have absolutely zilch in the boost department. So what you want to be doing right now is just lining yourself up so that the second he comes in, so again, I'll draw his line. He's coming in and he's going to be flipping into the side of your ball right here. You want to get it because your basic goal is to pinch it on net. Your hope is that it ends up being pinched on net in here. You don't want to flick into this because the second you flick into this, you already know you're not going to get any power. So you're just going to pass it back to their team. So what you want to do is you want to be driving right up to the ball here. You want to jump and hit it dead center if you can, because the fact that he's angling from here, you would see, and this is where I take the camera above to show you the actual angles of it. If I could look at the replay, you're literally setting it up perfectly that the path of least resistance is going to be towards their net, and the ball is just going to be booming out this way, regardless of wherever that goes, whether on the ground or in the air, does not matter. The fact is that you're winning the challenge with absolutely nothing in the tank, where instead when you rush these challenges, which will take tons of people are rushing challenges in GC, let alone Plat. So like if this is something you can master soon, you will start to dominate people, because all it takes right now is a little jump when he comes in and challenge you, but instead we hit the ball rushing around him and then they can boom it right back into play. Great bump to turn that again, but this is where a lot of that slowing it down is super important. Like that is exactly what it is, right? I don't even know if that was intentional, but you turn here, and if you were like throwing yourself at this ball, who knows where it's going to go. But you have such a steady 50 here that all it takes is one single jump under and you've boomed it back out there, right? Which is perfect, and that's exactly what we want, right? And you've had absolutely no boost here. The back post. Careful on the rotation, but that's okay. Beautiful save from your goalie, like he's literally a goalie. But yeah, I tend to not comment on mechanics like that because I know you know what you did wrong. Like I don't need to be the one harping that. So just working on that consistency. Great shot on that. Great job, man. Great job. Oh, we're already at the 30-minute mark. Sorry. So my question now, do you know how to half flip Cloudn9ne? Because you don't, I will send you the trainings for him immediately. Nice try there, that was just rough for your teammates. Because this was a moment I'd like to see you half flipping. So see how tight you are right now? You are so in deep when your teammate's already awkward that as that number 2, you need to be waiting a little further back, because this tight, even if he does make the play, you're not going to do anything with it. Like you're not going to be relevant even if he does make the center. But by being this close, it's very easy to boom it around you, and he does end up booming around you. So this is the play. Every single time you should be half flipping on these plays. So you can do it, which is not great. That's completely okay. So this is where you want to be practicing these and then doing these on the wall. Is going on through like that. What's half flipping, chat? I can show you a half flip real quick, Pip, just so you have it. This is a half flip. Oh, that's a video. So what you do is you turn your car back. If you're backwards, you back flip, but you cancel the flip. So you throw your stick forward. I know this might sound a little weird, but when you normally, if you just hold back and double press A, so you backflip, you cancel it, and then you are rolling your car so that it's the fastest way to turn around. So normally you would just drive backwards, right? Like you just do a little 3-point turn to then drive, but this is, you can see how fast I'm instantly going forwards back the other way, right? Which is really cool. So yeah. I don't know if you can keep watching your internet's crapping out. Sorry to hear that, Dave, but I appreciate you hanging out nonetheless. So, yeah. What do you think? Thank you. I appreciate it. I might honestly just stop after this since so many people are having problems, unfortunately. So, but that's okay. at Cloudn9ne. That was a great half flip, man. That was beautiful. That was absolutely beautiful. Again! He heard me, guys. He literally heard me talking about it. Yeah, not much to say towards the end. You looked really good towards the end. I hope you're able to pull some stuff from that already, of like small things, and then we'll continue into the next one now. Like I said, I'm generally a little less in depth on the second one because it should be, I assume, a lot of similar things. But we'll talk about that one there. Great challenge, even better save. Teammate to finish, beautiful. Great play. Nice money. 10 seconds in, and this is the loss for the second that quick. This is where you need to be focusing on the pads. Let me go back. You win the challenge. They take your boost. Your teammate took your boost. You've already seen this. And if you haven't, why is the quality so trash? Let's pause it when you officially know. Because you should know right now from where your teammate's coming from. And now you officially know that there's no boost. So what do? We don't go to this corner because the boost is not going to be there. We know it's not going to be there. So what you got to do is you got to start following these pads. I will, let me see. So, okay, so after this, Cloudn9ne, I'll end by showing you the pad lanes that I'm talking about so you can actually kind of better understand. I don't think I've actually shown them on stream fully yet. I tend to show them a little more one-on-one with people. But I'll show you them quickly in game after this, so we can see them. Remind me, please, if you hear me ending off and I'm not doing it. But I will show you them afterwards because it's so dominant if you can be good at riding these lanes. Same thing. So here, he misses his touch and you have tons of time. There's no need to rush this, right? We don't need to shoot. We don't need to try to hit it at the corner. There's absolutely nothing that's going to come from rushing this. As you can see, their goalie just eats it up right away, right? You end up having a great center regardless, but it's so easy for teams to just eat those up. So you got to slow them down. Great challenge. I can tell you're kind of feeling yourself this game. You're looking a little faster. Nice try. I'm back and forth. I would go for this clear because I'm very, very confident in this clear. I know I can hit this clear. I don't know where your confidence levels are with this, so I can't fully talk about it. I appreciate the effort. If you're not confident on this clear in future, until you are, unless you're the type where you just want to learn in game, do your thing, then like, fuck it, keep going for these. Keep going over and over again. Keep going for these clears until you're confident with them. But why I was going to say otherwise was that you are the one rotating right now. You have a goalie. You can't really see him, but you have a goalie who's waiting here. So this should be his clear. And you should be able to rotate in behind him as he goes for it so that then you can make the save if he misses it. And that's a huge part of this. And a very, very, such a hard mindset to get because this ball looks so juicy for you right now. Like, it looks so good to hit. But unfortunately, when that happens, you've now went for it and your teammate has now went for it and they have a wide open net and they can do it. So that's a bit of a decision-making thing of like, if you're confident you hit those, take it, do it. Like, I want you to. But if you're not, it is much safer just to rotate in the net in those plays. That was your ball completely. And unfortunately, your teammate kind of in your way quite a bit. And similarly, like, you got to be jumping now as the goalie. Like, you wait quite a while. See, like, waiting, like, we still haven't jumped and like their team's already jumped and then it's over you. You got to be jumping way sooner as the goalie. But again, that is not on you to goal against. But here again, there's the kind of solo queuing ways that your teammates' mistakes, you can still recover them and anything good. Oh, the miss, that hurts. Good recovery though. Way to get it. Big pop. Nice try. Good job saving your boost. Beautiful. Get out of his way. Let him do his thing. Now your ball. Done. I want to see those downfield, and it looks like that was your plan, so I'm not mad at that one. But good rotations. Great job. We're just done with that last game. Looks really good. So right now, why aren't you getting pads, right? That's what I'm talking about, is like, make use of idle time. So you don't have to do anything right now. Would I like you up in the play? Sure, but like, they have possession, so it's not that useful. Like I said, we have this beautiful, I literally picked yellow. We have this beautiful arch of a boost, a boost, a boost, a boost, a boost, and a boost all the way across your net right now. What's stopping you from doing a little loop like that or whatever that may be just to get all those boosts? Because all you need is like 3 more boosts and you're supersonic and you're set, your money, you're chilling, and that is something that I'm not seeing from you right now, and is a huge way to stay speedy and stay on top of things. So you literally need 3 pads. You could literally get that, just boom, 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 and you're in the play. There's literally 60 more outside of it, and you want to be taking these lanes so you can actually see get that rather than just waiting. I love it. Again, you go for it anyways, but you could have gotten it so much faster, right? And now you're still waiting back, even though your team has gotten possession, and you're in the exact same position with just a little more boost, not being relevant, right? So I would have liked to see you much, much closer. And then, of course, as you creep out, you get burned. But that is because we didn't have pressure, right? Your team was 2v3ing, and it's way easier for them to get a big clear like that if they're 2v3ing without you up there to make that initial pressure, so they can just line up an easy boom on net. So as much as that may feel like you were waiting back for a boom and then unfortunately just couldn't make a save, it's because you weren't there holding that pressure. Is a big, big, big part of that. Good job changing positions. So that's that 1, 2, 3. You are the 2. Your teammate gets demoed. I would recommend you become the 3, and that's exactly what you do here, which is great and a really good keep. Something I've been doing a lot more lately, and this might be good for you, on these balls where it is bouncing, so you're not going to be able to catch it without it popping, because as soon as you catch it, as you see here, it pops. I've been jumping, I'll go a little closer. I've been jumping now, so what I'll do is if I draw from your center of mass again, I will jump and then side flip into the ball, so I'm hitting up here on it, so not the middle but higher, so that I'm getting over the ball to keep it on the ground, because then the hope is that the ball is going to roll up the wall, and your trajectory from side flipping is going to make you follow it anyways, and then you're able to come up and either shoot. You can go for a ceiling shot if you're feeling it, you can go for a pass down if you're feeling it, or you can just boom it in their corner. So you get way more options there by doing that. So something to keep in mind there is a really, really big part of trying to get over the ball so that it doesn't pop, and then keep your kind of momentum bringing you forward. And you can see that here, when you catch it, instead it pops, you know that you won't get it, so then you pull out, but unfortunately you just give possession back to them, and now your goalie has to make a save. Great demo, though, recover from that. Careful on those front posts, right? You have 2 goalies right now, so this isn't your ball by a long shot, so you want to be snaking in. You want to be snaking in behind him right now, because you are rotating front post technically. This is less on you just because this is where you are, so that's life. But you want to be snaking in behind your goalie so you're not getting in his way, and unfortunately you end up driving right in front of him by driving out rather than in, right? Because it's not your turn, so you need to be going into net there. Beautiful. Just as I pause, I see you turning out. You don't fall down the line. You already got someone falling down the line. Get in the middle, right? Be relevant in the middle. Ready for a pass, and you actually go for a bump instead. And I'm not angry at that. I think that's a decent attempt. Yeah, don't fall down the line. I love that you adjusted just as I was going to comment on it, because I'm sure you saw it as well. But it's about getting there first, right? Good try. Double now. I'm sure you're trying to flick into that. But good attempt. You're physical. I like it. I haven't seen you get caught with it either, so clearly you're smart with it. I'm watching for it. I'm waiting to call you out. Nice shot. So why do you need almost all 3 boosts coming down the line, right? And this comes back to the supersonic thing. So if you get this boost now, you are already supersonic. I don't want to see you driving this line down the field, because that is so much longer than just instantly turning now and beelining for your back post. This is your goal. That right there is what you need to be touching right now and getting to. And so the ball is literally in your corner, and you can see every single player on the field. You're getting 3v2'd right now. So you need to be rushing back. This is the line you should be following all the way down, heading towards that net, because look how much longer it takes you now when you're flipping. Like I said, you're already supersonic, so you don't need to be flipping. You don't need these boosts to get into that back post, when it could have been much, much more dangerous if you were there, or at least it would have been safer. Now it was dangerous, but luckily, again, like I said, you didn't get burned for it. Because you had gotten there so slow. The alarm, as we talked about. That wasn't that loud. It did give me PTSD. It sounded like my alarm was going off, but fast way anywhere straight there. It's true. I like straight there too. Straight there kind of rhymes. Get anywhere straight there, right? see this again. Ooh, unfortunate. Your teammate shouldn't have been there. That's less on you. And yeah, you guys score. And then what am I miss? Good back post. Ooh. And so same thing. So right now, you are in hands down, or a little back, right? Now, you are in the most strategic position on the field because currently you can see your teammates and you can see the enemies, and you'll see the other one. He's like right here right now, so you'll see him in a second. So don't leave this line. Be the back post, be the last line of defense, because you already can tell from this angle that either one of your teammates is probably going to end up chasing this ball into the corner, especially where the rank you're currently at. There's a really, really good chance that these guys are going to follow it in, as we've even seen you do, which is not a bad thing inherently at all. So you got to be smarter now and hold your line. Do not leave this spot, because let them make their mistakes. Let them maybe make a fantastic play. Who knows? And it is much, much easier for you to drive forward to save all of this net here and above than it is to be placed here and then have to half flip or back flip to save all the net over here, right? So right now you're covering basically the entire net by yourself, which is perfect. So when you then lean in like this, when you already still have two teammates covering that short side, right now you have a teammate there. Pray he gets the touch. If he doesn't, you now should be on this front post getting ready to cut down the angle, but then you also come out trying to read it, and then just chaos on defense, right, of what ends up coming from that. So be the patient one on your team, because that's what's going to move you a little more far forward, right? Is like just taking your time, not rushing into anything, slowing it down. I was going to say, careful. You spend a lot of time in straight cam here. Like these checks feel like checks, but you're not actually looking, like you're not actually seeing anything, so you don't know that he could be dribbling on net right now, and you end up turning well regardless, but you got to be doing that a little more frequently just so you can actually be ready for that. Nice shot. Bang. We're in this game. Try from teammate. Great challenge from you. Unfortunately, no one there. No one in that number 3 spot. Good rotates. Looking really clean right now. Looking very, very solid. Oh, and... oh, what a goal. Fantastic play. All right. It's funny, since I know... I think I know at least it's supposed to be the loss. I was watching that and I was like, man, I guess he doesn't score here. Like, how is he going to somehow miss this shot? It's so open. And you just boom it. Anyways. Careful. Huge, huge, huge cutoff. Right now, you already know you have your number 1 who has challenged. You have your number 2 who is waiting perfectly. So you should be the number 3 hovering in this area, right? Getting ready to cover over here. And instead, what we end up happening is you end up cutting directly in front of your teammate. And now 3 of you are stuck in this spot, and then they can win a challenge out. It actually looks like it might go in, and it does. And so that, like, would the outcome have changed if you didn't challenge? Maybe not. But that is a huge, huge, huge thing you got to keep in mind of, like, where are your teammates right now and where should you be? And sitting right next to them is definitely not it, right? You're so whippy back and forth. I love it. Just maybe give yourself a little more time to actually take in information. Your number 2 wasn't in a great spot, unfortunately. I appreciate the turn, last second attempts. I'm out of that. Does it stay up? Yes. Good try, team. Oh, well. Cool. Okay, so definitely more in the win, which is actually tends to be the opposite that we're able to talk about. This one was just more rotational for you. I think you made a couple pretty big rotational mistakes, so really try and keep those in mind. So I will quickly drop those boost lanes for you, just so you have them. But yeah, that'll do it for the replay review for you right now, Cloudn9ne. Since you're in chat, let me know if you have any questions immediately. But like I said, you have any time in the world to message me. That's the whole point of being on the Patreon. But I hope you're able to take some things from that. I hope you can see some of the rotational things that are really important especially for moving up in ranks. And so with you right now, your goal as a platinum player is to just play steady. You want to have good hits on the ball, good rotations, not double committing, not giving away the ball every second you get, kind of thing. That's all your focus should be. It should not be any more than that. When you get to diamond, it's about learning creativity and learning a little more different things. And when you get to champ, it's about bringing all that together to then bring that yourself into GC. That is kind of your steps right now. Is in plat, you should just be focused on being a good Rocket League player, because you are currently just above average. You're just above the average demographic split of where most players fall between gold 2 to gold, like plat 2. So you're just above that right now. So for you, it's a big part of that is just being a good player rather than an average player, right? It should be your focus, and that tends to be the best way to kind of advance. So last thing I'm going to show you before we end off here is going to be what the lanes are that I was talking about for pennies. And I'm going to do this rather quick just so you can kind of just see it and visualize it, because this should not be a focus for you, but it is good to know regardless. So let me get it all set up here. Okay, so the none, perfect. Okay, so here is an RL map. This is Rocket League. So what I'm going to show you is our lanes. So we obviously all know, let me draw them in a different color. We obviously all know that we have 6 large canisters on the map dispersed around. This is what you spend the most time going for. This is things that, but these are the things that as you get better, you should be relying on less. And this is a really good thing. This is a good way to look at this. So, and this map, I love it. They actually draw the lanes already, which is really cool. You just might not see it yet. So there are the 3 areas of pennies that everybody tends to know, and I guarantee you probably do too, because I saw you following them, is your defensive, your offensive, and your middle. So people know that there is the arch here and the semicircle. People know there's the semicircle here. That's a disgustingly bad semicircle. There we go, like that. And then people know that there's a line of boost pads down the middle. Everybody knows that. Often it's kind of thought that they're kind of randomly dispersed around the field, the rest of them, but they're not. There are 5 very distinct lanes on this field. So again, we have our outside lanes. These tend to be your full boost pads. This is what you were following before when I was telling you that this is too long of a rotation. It is. This is the longest way to get around the map, is by doing this, and that is rewarded by giving you the most boost. So this lane in total has 324 boost in it, okay? And it's replicated on the opposite side. The next lane that, like I said, everybody knows is right down the middle. So this lane will actually give you 100 boost if you don't use any the entire way down. It's 100 or it's just under 100. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's 90. It's basically enough to do anything. So you're fine. These are the 3 that everybody knows. This is very easy to follow. Then you have your little semicircles and net that I was talking about. But finally, the big thing that people don't know is the football lanes. And like I said, this map already kind of draws it, which is pretty cool. But there is actually, and I call them football because they look like a football. There are lanes here and here. And these 2 lanes actually offer you the most pennies that any lane can. But obviously, it doesn't replicate the outside. The difference is that if let's say all 3 of these big pads are gone, then these lanes are your most ideal. And so the cool thing is that these lanes actually cover every single pad on the map except for these 2. And these 2, the reason they're here is for what's called lane, or at least what I call lane hopping. So if, let's say right now we're playing 3s, and where we're the one where you double committed. So you have a teammate in there. Let me draw a different color. So you have a teammate in the corner, you have a teammate waiting there, and then your job is to be the number 3 right now, so you need to be getting in here. But you're back in net, so maybe we're starting here. So you have 1 pad and you're on 0. What's the lane you should be following? So you can do it like what I said is what's called lane hopping. So all it is you start by going, so you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then depending where the ball goes from there, you can make your decision. So you can get your 6th right here, and then you can either, if the ball, let's say maybe this guy leached over this way, now you can rotate in here and get pads and be relevant. If it's the opposite and he's the one challenging, then we just get rid, we go from here and then back in for another pad, and now you're in with that is actually 100 boost, is doing that little swerving kind of boost hopping lane right there, and you have 100 boost without taking any time to go anywhere else in the field, which is such a valuable thing. And like I said, I don't want you harping on this. I don't want you thinking that this is something you need to learn now and it's super relevant, because it's not. It is something that will matter later in the game, but doesn't matter super like a massive amount right now. But it is very important that you at least know the positions of these, because like I said, every yellow line and thing you see on the map right now, it actually covers all of the pads. This is what the pads are. This is where they are. And this is how you can work the most efficiently on the field at all times. So it's a pretty cool way to look at this. And so I would really recommend taking that in and thinking about that and going from there. But yeah, that's probably where we'll leave it then. And we can leave it from there. I hope you got some stuff. I know you said that was a big help. I'm really glad to hear that. For you, like I said, the main thing right now is focus on consistent hits. So you're not putting yourself in awkward positions where you have a bad hit, and then focus on good rotation. So not leaving rotation for a full pad, not leaving rotation because you think you're going to get a better hit than your teammate, but just playing steady, playing comfortable, doing what you need to do to be relevant, but not being in the face of your teammates at all times. So that's a really big part of that. So like I said, I hope you got some good stuff from that. That is where we're going to leave it for now. And then I will be uploading this to YouTube, and we'll go from there. So thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. Thank you for supporting the podcast and myself. It means a lot. If you choose to stay on, I will see your replay next month as well. So